business community is still experiencing a significant shortage in U.S. dollars. The CEO of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Catherine Kumar, said while the central bank governor assures there is not a shortage, business people still can't get their hands on U.S. bills to conduct business. She addressed the issue following a conference to announce the Chamber's rebranding of their Business Hall of Fame to the Champions of Business, which will be held on the 17th of October. Melissa Dasrath has more.
There is no panic yet, but business people are feeling the pinch with the restrictions on the purchase of U.S. dollars. The Chamber of Industry and Commerce is concerned that the obvious inadequacy of foreign exchange in the monetary system will hinder economic growth and prosperity. Last week, Friday, the Chamber held a conference to discuss the fears of a shortage of foreign reserves and the ripple effect it could have. CEO Catherine Kumar said although the central bank governor insists that the U.S. dollar is flowing, she said the business community is experiencing a trickle of U.S. $1,000 per person. And this, she said, is cause for concern.
The truth comes out as to what the business person is really experiencing. And the business person is still saying that what they are experiencing is a shortage of foreign exchange. Up to Friday, even though on the Thursday an additional $50 million was injected into the system by the central bank, on Friday, members told us they went to the bank on Friday and they were again restricted to their $1,000.
She said maybe the distribution system should be revised to mitigate future shortages in foreign exchange.
I would not say that we are satisfied that the situation has been resolved. I think that definitely the issue needs to be discussed further. It may be that further changes need to be made to the distribution system. It may be that the banks, through the Bankers Association, need to look at what they're doing and how they are distributing the money, the foreign exchange that comes into the system. But certainly we want to ensure that our businesses, which are attempting to grow now in a period of economic growth projected, and we are seeing growth, that they would not in any way be stymied only because they cannot get foreign exchange to pay their suppliers.
The Chamber of Industry and Commerce has rebranded their annual Business Hall of Fame induction ceremony as the Champions of Business. And with the addition of 2 new categories, recognizing the emerging entrepreneur and internationally known, TNT-owned, there is even greater emphasis on the outwards and upwards growth of business by breaking out into foreign markets, which means an even greater demand for foreign monies. Melissa Dasrath, CNews.
Melissa Dasrath joins us now live from Chaguanas. She's been speaking to small business owners and other people about this issue. Do they believe what the Chamber of Industry and Commerce CEO Catherine Kumar said, that there's a shortage of U.S. dollars? Good evening, Melissa.
Good evening, Samantha. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Well, over the last few weeks, we've been hearing conflicting reports, different stories. Is there a shortage? Is there not a shortage of foreign reserves? And tonight with us, we have 2 members of the central business community to share some of their personal experiences, or challenges rather, in getting their hands on those U.S. dollars. We have Susanna Barclay. She's a business owner. She owns an import-export business, so therefore U.S. dollars are very critical to her day-to-day operations. Tell us some of the experiences. You went to the bank. What were you told?
Oh, I went to the bank and they told me that they don't have U.S. dollar right now, right away. But I said I need my U.S. dollar to finance my shipment, because it is critical now to remit or to pay to wire transfer, because it had to leave the country. Otherwise, my target market will not meet. But then they cannot accommodate what my needs is. So what I have to do to accommodate my business, to facilitate my needs, is I have to send my family to shop around in their banks, and then they get the U.S. dollar for me. And then we accumulate it and carry it to my bank and then wire transfer it to my suppliers.
Now, how much money would you use on a daily basis or a weekly basis in terms of U.S. dollars? Do you have a figure for us?
Yes. For instance, like I need to remit like 10,000 US to finance. That's like a final payment or a part payment of my shipment. And I find that it's not a big amount of money, right, compared to like a big business people. This is like a small import business, and if it's small people like us in our area have this difficulty of producing that amount, right? So how much more the bigger community that is our member in Chaguanas.
But from what I understand, you're getting significantly lower than that. We heard from Catherine Kumar that people are only getting $1,000 per person at the bank, but you're saying it's much lower. It's $500 at some banks and even $200. Tell us about
Yes, it had some banks that they will give you 500 US, but it depends who you know in the bank. And then some people who don't really have nothing that to help them in the bank, they could only get like 100 to 200 US a day.
We also have Rishi Sukai. He's the president of the Chaguanas Industry and Commerce. Tell us a little bit about the situation. You said there's a whole system of swapping going on.
Yeah, well, our members are having a lot of problems, and daily we're getting calls in the chamber about this issue. Central Bank has sent out a circular saying that give it until the end of the last 2 weeks in June, everything should be ironed out, all the kinks should be ironed out. But one of the issues that we're having is that, okay, you go into an institution, they don't have the US, but they're allowing you to buy other foreign exchange. So you, for instance, they'll allow you to buy Euro or maybe Canadian. And then they allow you also to take that and swap that to US. My question is, if you don't have the money to sell the US when we have the TT, how come you have the money available to buy, you know, the foreign currency back? But that is one issue that's a question that we are thinking about, the members are asking. But the central bank said give them the 2 weeks for it to iron out. We're just looking on, let's see what happens. But if in 2 weeks' time it isn't solved, then we will definitely have a problem in this country. Being that most of our importers are bringing goods now for Christmas, and if this isn't done, solved now, I'm sorry, we may be looking at a bleak Christmas.
Do you also think it's true to say that a lot of people are manipulating this whole situation right now?
I really wish not to comment on that one, but it's kind of interesting that, you know, with the new system, 90% of the funds are going to 12 institutions. And then when you look at it, before in the past, they had the funds available. Now it's such a way that one institution may have a surplus and not enough customers to supply, whereas another institution may have not the amount but a large demand. So we have to look at the ratio back again. Maybe the maths may need crunching back, but again, let's allow it the 2 weeks. Let's see what happens, and let's hope that the central bank is right. They iron out their kinks, you know.
Now, as the president of the Chaguanas Chamber, are your views reflective of what we're seeing Catherine Kumar saying, that there is in fact a shortage, despite what we're hearing from other people, that there is a shortage?
Well, again, like what Ms. Barclay is saying, and we're thinking, maybe it's not a shortage. Maybe it could be allocation. It could be allocation of the funds. Maybe there's the money in the country. Because if, for instance, if an institution could send her an email or give a call saying that there's a surplus of money, you can get any amount you want. What is that telling you? Maybe the money is there. Maybe it's not allocated properly.
You mentioned that there was a bidding process, and these 12 institutions bid, and they were allocated different amounts, one institution getting 35%. Tell us about that.
Well, that one is what Mrs. Barclay was saying us, right? And what she was saying about the 35%, I believe, if I'm not right, because I'm quoting you on this one, you said 18% will go to the public, and then the rest of it is going to the shareholders of the company. Again, the major shareholders of the company, and this was from an institution that we're hearing about. So again, it mightn't be a supply problem, it could be an allocation problem that we are having in the country, you know.
Well, there you have it from two members of the central business community. Perhaps there's not a shortage, perhaps there's an allocation issue. And again, over the past few weeks, we've been hearing different stories. One thing from the bankers, one thing from the business people, and we have yet to see how all of this plays out. And at the end of the day, the buck stops with the business community. Back to you, Sam.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Melissa Dathrath reporting live from Chaguanas, finding out from the man on the street, including from a few small business owners about their experience accessing U.S.